Y News. With the new school year just a few weeks away, the Department of Education officially kicks off its nationwide Brigade Escuela. Price increase on food seasoning looms amid skyrocketing fuel prices. And the national ID system likely to roll out this year as Congress sets to ratify the bill next week. Y News begins now.
This is Y News.
Good evening. This year's Brigade Escuela kicks off today at a school in Venezuela City. During the activity, the Department of Education announced it will no longer accept donations for Brigade Escuela from tobacco companies. Grace Casin explains why.
The spirit of bayanihan is very much alive in this Brigade Escuela in the National Capital Region as teachers, students, and parents began the cleanup and repairs at the Malinta Elementary School in Valenzuela City. As the yearly activity kicks off in some schools across the country, the Department of Education or DepEd calls on public to help in preparing schools for the upcoming opening of classes. The DepEd expects 27.7 million students for elementary and high school this school year. Education Undersecretary Tonesito Umali hopes the number of volunteers in this year's Brigade Escuela will surpass the 12 million volunteers recorded last year.
Ang bata ay mas mag-aaral, gaganahan. It's very important that we provide our children a learning environment not only conducive to teaching but also to learning.
The National Brigade Escuela kickoff will be held on May 29 at the New Society National High School in General Santos City. DepEd officials will lead the said event. Meanwhile, DepEd figures show it received 5.4 billion pesos in donations from last year's Brigade Escuela. The agency hopes there will be more donations of materials for the repair of classrooms. However, Yusek Umali clarifies the department will no longer accept help from tobacco-funded companies.
We only accept donations in kind. We don't accept cash. Because of a law and a DepEd order specifically providing that our schools or anybody for that matter in DepEd cannot accept donations from tobacco or corporations related to tobacco.
The DepEd previously issued Department Order No. 48 or the Policy Guidelines on Comprehensive Tobacco Control. It prohibits the selling of cigarettes near schools. DepEd explains accepting donations from tobacco firms is the same as saying it allows the selling and use of cigarettes. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
DepEd meanwhile cites the Members Church of God International as it launched its Brigade Escuela in several provinces today. This report will tell us why. School authorities begin today the conduct of Brigade Escuela in the Rosario Ocampo Elementary School in Taytay, Rizal. The Department of Education or DepEd held a motorcade before the actual cleanup and repair of damaged school materials and equipment. Brigade Escuela's team this year is called Unity to make schools prepared, safe, and stable for a better future.
At sa mga araw na susunod ay patuloy pa rin po natin gagawin ang paghahanda sa ating mga paaralan para pagdating po ng mga bata, wow, ready ang ating mga paaralan.
Meanwhile, DepEd gave recognition to the Members Church of God International for its continued support for the yearly activity.
Department of Education sa mga eskwelahan po rito na patuloy po na susuporta ang MCGI at datidaan sa Brigade Escuela taon-taon. Dahil ito pong advocacy ni Kuya Daniel, ang tunay na public service.
In Zambales, school officials compared to Bayanihan the collective effort to clean and repair the Josephine F. Konghun Special Education Center in the town of Wawandu, Subic. The principal of the school thanked UNTV and MCGI for participating in the conduct of the Brigada Escuela.
So nagpapasalamat po kami dahil kahit hindi pa araw ng Brigada Escuela, maintenance week na tinatawag natin ng May 28 to June 2, sila po ang grupo po nila ay naandito na kaya malaking bagay po sa amin dito sa paaralan.
Close to 500 schools nationwide will raise their tuition for the school year 2018 to 2019. According to Education Undersecretary Jesus Mateo, 478 out of more than 11,000 private schools were allowed to impose tuition increase for the coming school year. He adds the number could increase because so far, only 6 regions including Metro Manila and Calabarzon have submitted their reports. Mateo could not say for now the exact amount of tuition hikes, but most schools cited increase in salaries and benefits of their employees as the reason for the tuition hike. There is an imminent price increase on the food sold in cafeterias and canteens. Here's why from Monokson.
Customers of food vendor named Rose flock to her canteen to enjoy the tasty sinigang broth she offers for free. But now, Rose would have to offer free broth with lesser seasonings, as the price of seasonings she uses has soared. A large pack of seasoning, which she could buy at 229 pesos each, has gone up by 30 pesos. Rose is also considering increasing the price of the items on her menu, but fears she might lose customers as they are after low-price meals.
Di ba marami naman kami dito. Hindi naman ako pwedeng sobrang taas ako tapos sila mababa. Sunod lang sa agos. Kung magkanong pagkasunduan, yun lang.
Meanwhile, supermarket owners reveal manufacturers have notified them of the price increase of seasonings amid the surging value of raw materials. Factors for the spiking prices include oil prices, production costs, the value of peso against dollar, and the implementation of the train law.
Pag nag-increase ang cost of operating ng karinderya, yung kinakain natin sa mga karinderya, tataas din. Ayaw ko lang kung napansin mo, pero nagtanong ako, nagtaas daw mga presyo ng mga ulam sa karinderya. So, things will start going up because nga, maapektuhan na lahat, no? Lahat ng industriya. Magkain
Supermarket owners also fear the prices of commodities would further rise with more costly imported raw materials.
Pwedeng tataas yung presyo. Of course, if mataas yung raw material cost, then tataas din yung cost of goods. But kung nag-devalue yung peso to dollar, then we can parang adjust din.
Supermarket owners also forecast the possible price hike on other products as manufacturers observe the price adjustments on raw materials. Monhok Son, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The proposed Philippine identification system may be finally rolled out this year after several attempts by previous administrations. Grace Casin tells us why.
Filipinos will soon have a Philippine identification system which will streamline the delivery of government services. This after the Congress Bicameral Conference Committee approves the bill creating the Philippine Identification System or PhilSys. The Bicameral Committee last Tuesday agreed to include sets of information in the final ID system. The PhilSys number, full name, gender, blood type, date of birth, place of birth, marital status, address, and front-facing photograph. Biometrics like full set of fingerprints and iris scan will be stored in data, but mobile number and email address are optional. House Committee on Population and Family Relations Chairperson Sol Aragones says the issuance of the Philippine ID is free. Once it passed into law, they will prioritize ID distribution to the members of 4 Ps, persons with disability, senior citizens, and indigent people.
Magagamit din ang ID ito sa pagguha ng social services, pati halimbawa sa DFA, pag mag-apply ka ng passport, hindi mo na kailangan ng authenticated birth certificate. Papakita mo na lang tong ID ito. Pagkapanganak ng bata ay bibigyan na natin ng Philippine ID card at bahagi na sila nito. Pero ito ay nakalink pa sa kanilang mga magulang.
Ramil welcomes the implementation of Philippine ID, which will help him during government transactions.
Mas mahirap po ang mas maraming ID na dala. Minsan po, nagpapalit-palit.
But Makabayan congressmen fear that the Philippine ID might be hacked.
Hindi malayo na itong ating mga information, no, basic information, yung atong biometrics ay mahak, then it can be used sa ibang kapamaraanan, criminal, commercial, or otherwise.
But Aragonists insist they placed safeguards in the database.
Maaari lamang itong buksan kung merong compelling interest ng ng ating safety at saka ng public health. Ibig sabihin, hindi basta-basta ito pwedeng buksan at talagang pinakaiingatan ng mga impormasyon dito.
The House and Senate are both expected to ratify the bill before its sine die adjournment on May 30. It will then be transmitted to President Rodrigo Duterte for signature, as this is one of the priority agenda of his administration. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
President Rodrigo Duterte clarifies his remarks against women that earned him the ire of several groups. Ray Pelayo explains why.
President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday defends his recent remarks against women that drew flack from several rights groups. In a speech in Davao City yesterday, the chief executive says he believes in the competence and capabilities of women, but their excellence does not apply to all aspects of life. The president mentioned this while he was asking female soldiers to leave Paquibato district in Davao due to the presence of the New People's Army, Communist Party of the Philippines. Duterte also went on to explain why he chooses men over women on some government positions.
Ang mga babae, kung sundalo, pati pulis, ayaw ko yan sa bukid. Kagaya unlike men kami, maliit pa lang, suntukan, bakbakan, barilan yan. And we grow up with a sort of a mindset na sometimes prone to violence.
This month, pro-women groups accused Duterte of discrimination after he said in public that the next ombudsman should not be a woman.
Mag-dominate sila, pero I chose what gusto ko yung believe ang tao sa integrity niya. Of course, it could not be a politician. Lalo na hindi babae.
The Philippine Commission on Women says that based on the Magna Carta of Women, men and women should be given equal rights and opportunities even in political aspect.
And the Magna Carta of Women says that in the bureaucracy, in government, there should be 50-50 gender balance, incremental increase in women being appointed to managerial positions.
But for law expert attorney George Erwin Garcia, the emphasis on the issue should be placed on the qualification of the person appointed to a certain post.
Sa bandang huli, mas papasok dyan yung diskresyon na mag-a-appoint, whether ang piliin niya ay isang lalaki o isang babae o yung tinatawag na third sex. Wala tayong magagawa doon. Diskresyon yon, lalong-lalo na ng ating Pangulo.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Authorities warn motorists of a possible slowdown of traffic flow in some major roads in Quezon City as road repairs are scheduled to resume at 11 p.m. tonight. In an advisory, road reblocking will cover the second southbound lane of EDSA from Samson College going to Pitwason Street and the third lane of Eugenio Lopez Street along EDSA going to Scout Borromeo. While in the northbound lane, slow traffic flow is expected in EDSA's second lane fronting Vertis North going to Trinoma Mall, in the inner lane of Quirino Highway near Mater Carmeli School and España Boulevard going to Quiapo in front of Ramon Magsaysay High School. Roads will also be repaired along the northbound inner lane of A Bonifacio Avenue along Mauban Street and the third lane of Congressional Avenue fronting Business Bank going to Mindanao Avenue. The Manila Development Authority assures all affected roads will be passable by 5 a.m. on Monday. Asia's Phoenix Morissette grants the ultimate wish of her young fan. Leslie Longbowen tells us why.
A lucky fan meets her favorite singer for the first time. The ultimate wish of 5-year-old Eunice, a leukemia patient, came true when Morissette recently returned to the roadshow of Wish 1075.
She wanna see you talaga personally. We're so happy, we're so blessed na may time siya for my daughter.
Eunice offered Morissette a gift with a sweet dedication.
Thank you for inspiring me to live another fight in my life. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Love, Unique's Ash Ian. Yeah, thank you very, very much. God bless you. Thank you.
In return, the young diva gave Unique's an album signed by her. The two also sang a duet of Unique's favorite song. Meanwhile, Morissette is also grateful for the opportunity to grant her fans' wish. Leslie Lomboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines. Next on Y News. Philippines seeks to lower tariffs imposed on bananas exported to South Korea. AFP Cavaliers considers upcoming match with Senate Sentinels a must-win situation. And the UNTV dive team visits popular diving site in Thailand. On Y News Tonight, Environment Secretary Roy Cimatu issues search and destroy order for all illegal sewers in Boracay. Australian missionary Patricia Fox urges Justice Department to review immigration's cancellation of her visa and deportation order. And the Department of Justice ends Provisional Witness Protection Program coverage of Janet Lim Napoles. Good evening. Environment Secretary Roy Cimatu orders the Philippine Army members to search, excavate, and remove all illegal pipes in the White Beach area of Boracay Island. Here's why from Vincent Arboleda.
Results derived from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Deep Penetrating Radar revealed that 33 sites in the entire White Beach area of Boracay were planted with illegal sewers. This prompts Environment Secretary Roy Cimatu to issue a search and destroy order to the members of the Philippine Army to begin the excavation and removal of said pipes. A total of 100 candidate soldiers from the Philippine Army 3rd Infantry Division will help in the process.
The search and destroy, search or plug or search or cut off the pipes. So that's what happened.
After a few hours of digging, DNR learns that 21 out of the 28 excavated sewers lead to the sea. This may be considered illegal as establishments are mandated by the law to connect to the drainage and sewerage system managed by the Boracay Island Water Company. The DNR is now investigating which establishment owns the said pipes.
If really hindi nila ma-explain kung why they did that properly, it was illegal, so we'll file the necessary charges in court.
Cimatu also vows to use their quasi-judicial powers to impose penalties to establishments violating the law. Cimatu meanwhile assures that rehabilitation efforts in the island remain on track a month later after its closure.
Because of the assistance of the soldiers, yung ini-schedule ko na one month more o for 3 weeks more na extra na maaari mag-overshot ako, nakuha natin ng 1 day.
Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Boracay.
The Department of Justice terminates the Provisional Witness Protection Program coverage on pork barrel scam principal suspect Janet Lim Napoles. In a statement, DOJ says Napoles' coverage has lapsed and that they have already sent notice to her counsel today. Napoles was admitted to the WPP last February 26, 2018, after she executed an affidavit giving more details on the scam involving the spending of the Priority Development Assistance Fund, or PDAF. Her admission to WPP covers security protection for witness duty only. Her request for transfer to DOJ has been repeatedly denied by the Sandigan Bayan, so she will remain in detention at the Camp Bagong Diwa in Taguig. Meanwhile, the Philippines seeks to lower tariffs imposed on bananas exported to South Korea. Here's why from Rosalie Cos.
President Rodrigo Duterte is set to travel to South Korea for an official visit next month. Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel Piñol will be part of the President's delegation, and he looks forward to inking an agreement with his Korean counterpart to reduce the current 30% levy on Philippine exported bananas.
So we're asking that this be reduced. Maski ba mga 10% lang, no?
The Philippines ranks second in the world's top banana producers, and it accounts nearly 90% of South Korea's banana imports. The Department of Trade and Industry says the Philippines needs to enhance the promotion and supply of bananas as well as other agricultural products like pineapple, coconut, and tuna.
This is more strategic to really focus our market leaders. When I say market leaders, this would be not only in the promotion side, but promotion internally on how we can increase supply products where we are already leading.
Meanwhile, another agreement on preferential trade is likely to be signed between the Philippines and South Korea during the presidential visit.
It will cover yung mga items na traded between Korea and the Philippines. Kasi ang feeling ni Secretary Dominguez, unfair yung setup right now because the fruits from Korea, for example, their apples, are only slapped a 5% tariff. Samantalang yung ating saging, 30%.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Australian missionary Patricia Fox urges the Department of Justice to review the order of the Bureau of Immigration to revoke her visa. Meantime, Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara ordered BI to file its comment within 10 days. Mai Bermudez tells us why.
In a 21-page petition, Australian missionary Patricia Fox is asking the Department of Justice to review the decision of the Bureau of Immigration to deport her after canceling her visa. She also denies BI's accusations, such as joining political rallies in which foreigners are prohibited from under the law.
This will stay the execution of the order of the Bureau of Immigration. Therefore, yung missionary visa ni Sister Patricia Fox is still valid at pending hintayin po natin ang desisyon ng Department of Justice.
On Wednesday, BI denied with finality Fox's earlier appeal to reverse the decision, citing a photo of her holding a placard asking for the release of political prisoners in the country. Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente also previously said that BI's directive is final and executory. But Fox asserts she will not leave the country until DOJ finalizes BI's decision.
Siyempre, ang wish ko ay tutuloy ang missionary work dito kasama ng mga mahihirap at sana yan ang resulta ng mga at mapatuloy ako ng trabaho bilang misyonero, bilang human rights defender, bilang.
The Justice Department, on the other hand, directed the BI to file its comment on the petition within 10 days. DOJ may also call for clarificatory hearings for the resolution of the said appeal. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Authorities arrest 2 police officers who went AWOL in Rodriguez, Rizal last night. Victoire Kisara tells us why.
The Rizal police apprehended 2 cops currently on AWOL in a buy-bust operation at past 10 p.m. last night at an apartment in Metro Montana, Barangay Burgos in Rodriguez. During the raid, authorities found in the possession of PO2 Benjo Shonilo and PO1 Ivan Henrik Tavas 5 sachets of suspected shabu. Police Region 4A Director, Police Chief Superintendent Guillermo Eliazar explains the drug suspects sell the illegal drugs they confiscate during police operations.
Ang modus is nagpapanggap or nagpapakilalang pulis kasi pulis pa rin naman, di ba? And then, yung kukunin itong mga, kumbaga huhulihin, tapos kukunin yung mga drugs test para ibenta sa iba. Tapos iba pang kita.
Sila sa mga bahay, tapos kinukuha ng anong gamit doon, parang rapid rin nangyayari. Pero usually na binibigyan nila mga pandit, may mga record sa drug.
The Rizal police also confiscated their firearms. The suspects are now facing multiple charges for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 and illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. Tavas, on the other hand, refused to comment on the accusations.
No-comment po ako tungkol sa drugs po.
Hindi po, huwag niyo po idamay tatay ko. Wala po siyang alam po dito, ako na lang po kung ako.
Meanwhile, Police Region 4A's chief plans to order the monitoring of all cops on AWOL.
Awon na pulis, yan ang managugrupo-grupo at nagkikita-kita para gumawa ng illegal na mga activities.
Victoire Kisara, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Bureau of Corrections is planning to separate the detention cells of Chinese and Filipino drug lords. It also eyes building more structures within its colonies. Ray Palayo explains why.
Bureau of Corrections Chief and Justice Undersecretary Ronald Bato de la Rosa is determined to overcome the massive problem of illegal drugs inside the National Penitentiary. In an interview in the program Get It Straight with Darlene Razon earlier, De La Rosa admits that drug trade remains unresolved in the national beleaguered prisons despite the tighter security in place. In order to address the issue, he now plans to separate the detention cells of Chinese and Filipino drug lords to stop any transactions. De La Rosa also muses ways on how to cut off their line of communication via electronic gadgets such as cell phone and visitors acting as messengers.
So, kung mahiwalay ba itong dalawa, kahit na mag-order itong mga Chinese na itong sa China, padala ng shabu dito, wala na magkikater doon sa demand side dahil putol na yung contact nila.
The Bucor chief also plans to build more structures within its 7 colonies to decongest beleaguered prisons. He also vows to do all he can to make the facility a real correctional area for detainees.
May deliver ko lang yung aking intention doon sa mga drug lord doon sa loob. And it is really my intention to stop them. So in this kind of war, pwedeng akong matalo, pwede silang matalo. But I will see to it na hindi ako magpapatalo. Hindi nga lahat dyan masasama. Marami pa dyan mababait at magagaling at matitino.
Minsan, meron naman nakulong na wala namang kasalanan
Yes,
din.
totoo yan.
De La Rosa also wants to hire 500 more personnel to augment its current 2,400 manpower. And though he is yet to get President Rodrigo Duterte's blessing on his political bid, De La Rosa plans to push for the reimposition of the death penalty if ever he gets elected to the Senate. Ray Palayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
CPPNPA founding chairman Jose Maria Sison just shrugs off President Rodrigo Duterte's threats to kill him if the peace talks with the communist group fails anew. Here's why from Marisol Montaño.
Communist leader Jose Maria Sison is not worried over President Rodrigo Duterte's threat to kill him should the resumption of the peace talks with the Communist Party of the Philippines National Democratic Front fails anew. In a speech yesterday, the president reveals he offered Sison to return to the country so they could personally discuss the steps to take to attain peace.
I will see to it and will personally maybe escort him to the airport pag walang nangyari sa 2 months. I will allow him to go out. I will not arrest him because word of honor yan. But sabihin ko talaga sa kanya, putang ina mo, huwag ka nang bumalik dito. Papatayin talaga.
In a statement, CPPNPA founding chair says Mr. Duterte had threatened him several times before, but that he just disregards it. He adds it would be better if they will just both encourage the negotiating panels of the government and the NDFP to continue the preparations for the reopening of the formal talks. Meanwhile, the president believes the government is already close to winning what he describes as a fight against the CPPNPA-NDF. This after the capture of Elizalde Cañete alias Jinggoy last May 21. He is the leader of the Pulang Bagani Command Southern Mindanao Committee of the New People's Army.
I'd like to congratulate the military for nahuli man daw nila si Jinggoy. Jinggoy was the successor of Paraco. He has 6 wounds. May anting-anting yun ang yawa. Buhi pa hantod doon. But he was captured because he was wounded. So the military is quite good in... We're winning the war actually.
Marisol Montaño, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
The UNTV dive team visits Colipe Island, which is considered as one of the best diving destinations in Thailand. Brian Evangelista tells us why.
The UNTV dive team and the Professional Scuba Diving International head to Thailand's southwestern province of Satun to explore more of its diving destinations. After successfully joining a diving expo held recently at the Sirikit National Convention Center, the group visits Colipe Island, situated at the very heart of Tarutao National Marine Park in Satun.
So actually Colipe is the only island where people can live. So we're part of the Tarutao Marine Park. There's about 30-40 islands in total, all of this here. But the Colipe is the only place you can stay.
UNTV drone footage shows the stunning beauty of the island, surrounded by crystal clear sea waters, navigated by small sea crafts used by divers called the longtail. But underneath the water, a whole new incredible world greets the UNTV dive team. An array of colorful corals grow and diverse school of fishes swim around Colipe, making it one of the best diving destinations in the country. Its rich marine biodiversity entices more divers to explore Colipe's underwater splendor.
So I've dived all over Thailand, so when I came here 5 years ago, I was impressed by just how much coral there is. It's incredible. Like, I've heard people even call it the Maldives of Thailand.
Catch more of the UNTV team's escapades in Colipe, Thailand this Saturday's episode of The Dive from 5:30 to 6 p.m. Brian Evangelista, UNTV News and Rescue, Thailand.
Reigning off-season champion AFP Cavaliers will now have to force its way to the win column as it prepares to battle against Senate Sentinels this Sunday's UNTV Cup Executive Face-Off elimination rounds. Bernard Daddies tells us why.
Twice routed off-season defending champion AFP Cavaliers is squaring its shoulders as it considers its next hardcourt battle a must-win situation. Cavaliers will go against the Senate Sentinels in the main game of the triple-header UNTV Cup Executive Face-Off on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. at the Pasig City Sports Center. Cavaliers coach Sonny Manukat knows they would need to thoroughly rev up their armaments to defeat the leading Sentinels.
Malakas yung Senate. Sabi kailangan we have to prepare hard for them. Team effort talaga. Kung hindi, wala mangyayari.
Cavaliers need to clinch their first win to secure position since each team only has 7 elimination round matches. Only the top 4 will advance to the playoffs and the remaining 4 will have to bid farewell to the league.
Must-win, kailangan manalo na kami. Kung gusto namin pumasok dun sa round of 4, siguro we'll just take it one game at a time pa rin. We'll try to win the next game.
Senate Cagers meanwhile are conscientious since they will clash against the defending champion.
Matibay na team yan eh. So kailangan pagandaan. Ayusin pa namin yung depensa namin. May mga lapses. So kailangan lang maging consistent kami sa aming mga executions and plays din eh. Yun ang magiging key doon pagdating namin sa game against AFP.
Prior to Cavaliers Sentinels game, GSIS Thunder Furies and DOJ Justice Boosters will gun for their first win at 2 in the afternoon, followed by PNP Responders and Judiciary Magis that are both seeking their third straight win. Bernard Daddies, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on Y News. 15 people wounded as explosion rips through a mall in Canada. North Korea still willing to talk with the U.S. after President Donald Trump abruptly cancels his scheduled summit with leader Kim Jong-un. And toddlers recreate the glittering royal wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Good evening. Here are the top stories on Y News tonight. The Department of Education kicks off its Metro Manila 2018 Brigade Escuela today at Malinta Elementary School in Valenzuela City. The spirit of Bayanihan is very much alive as teachers, students, and parents began the cleanup and repairs in the said school. Education Undersecretary Tonisito Umali hopes the number of volunteers in this year's Brigade Escuela will surpass the 12 million volunteers recorded last year. Umali also hopes that they will receive more material donations for the repair of classrooms. However, he clarifies that the department will no longer accept help from tobacco-funded companies. DepEd explains accepting donations from tobacco firms is the same as saying it allows the selling and use of cigarettes.
We only accept donations in kind. We don't accept cash. Because of a law and a DepEd order specifically providing that our schools or anybody for that matter in DepEd cannot accept donations from tobacco or corporations related to tobacco corporations.
Meanwhile, prices of food sold in cafeterias and canteens may soon increase as value of seasonings threaten to rise. Supermarket owners say manufacturers have notified them for the price hike amid the surging value of raw materials. Factors for the spiking prices include oil prices, production costs, the value of peso against the dollar, and the implementation of the train law. Supermarket owners also forecast possible price hike on other products as manufacturers observe the price adjustments on raw materials. Filipinos will soon have a Philippine identification system which will streamline the delivery of government services. This after the Congress Bicameral Conference Committee approves the bill creating the Philippine Identification System or PhilSys. The committee agrees on Tuesday to include sets of information in the final ID system such as full name, gender, blood type, date, and place of birth, marital status, address, and photographs, while biometrics like fingerprints and iris scan will be stored in a database. House Committee on Population and Family Relations Chairperson Sol Aragones says the issuance of the national ID is free of charge.
Magagamit din ang ID ito sa pagguha ng social services, pati halimbawa sa DFA, pag mag-apply ka ng passport, hindi mo na kailangan ng authenticated birth certificate. Pagkapanganak ng bata ay bibigyan na natin ng Philippine ID card at bahagi na sila nito, pero ito ay nakalink pa sa kanilang mga magulang.
The Congress is expected to ratify the bill before its break on May 30. It will then be transmitted to President Rodrigo Duterte for signature. In other news, Environment Secretary Roy Cimatu orders 100 Philippine Army members to search, excavate, and remove all illegal pipes in the White Beach area of Boracay Island. This after results derived from its deep penetrating radar revealed that 33 sites in the entire White Beach area of Boracay were planted with illegal sewers. DENR says this may be considered illegal as establishments are mandated by law to connect to the drainage and sewage system managed by the Boracay Island Water Corporation.
Why they did that properly, it was illegal, so we'll file the necessary charges in court.
Meanwhile, Australian missionary Patricia Fox is asking the Department of Justice to review the decision of the Immigration Bureau to deport her after canceling her visa. In a 21-page petition, she denies BI's accusation that she joined political rallies, which is among the prohibitions set on foreigners under the law. Fox also asserts she will not leave the country until the DOJ finalizes the decision.
Missionary work dito kasama ng mga mahihirap at sana yan ang resulta ng mga at mapatuloy ako ng trabaho bilang misyonero, bilang human rights defender.
On Wednesday, BI denied with a finality Fox's appeal to reverse the decision, saying the directive is final and executory. The Justice Department, on the other hand, directs the Bureau to file its comment on the petition within 10 days. The Department of Justice terminates the Provisional Witness Protection Program coverage on pork barrel scam principal suspect Janet Lim Napoles. In a statement, DOJ explains Napoles' coverage has lapsed and that they have already sent notice to her counsel today. Napoles was admitted to the WPP last February 26, 2018, after she executed an affidavit giving more details on the scam involving the spending of the Priority Development Assistance Fund, or PDAF. Her admission to WPP covers security protection for witness duty only. Her request for transfer to DOJ has been repeatedly denied by the Sandigan Bayan, so she will remain in detention at the Camp Bagong Diwa in Taguig. There is no low-pressure area in the Philippine area of responsibility, but rains will be experienced in some parts of the country. Leslie Longbowen will tell us why.
Yes, William, it's going to be a rainy weekend in the southern part of the country. Intertropical Convergence Zone, or ITCZ, is affecting Mindanao. Meanwhile, easterlies continue to affect the rest of the country. Expect cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms to prevail over eastern Visayas and Mindanao. Meanwhile, Metro Manila and the rest of the country will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers. According to Pag-asa, temperature in Metro Manila tomorrow will range from 24 to 34 degrees Celsius, 26 to 38 degrees Celsius in Tuguegarao City, 27 to 32 degrees Celsius in Metro Cebu, and 25 to 31 degrees Celsius in Metro Davao. Tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 5:26 in the morning. That's the weather forecast. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Leslie Longbowen from the UNTV Weather Center. And for the news abroad, here's Annie Mancilia live from Singapore. Good evening, Annie.
Good evening, Will. A senior North Korean official says the country is still willing to talk with the U.S. after President Donald Trump abruptly canceled the scheduled summit with leader Kim Jong-un. Eric Ferrer tells us why.
U.S. President Donald Trump shocked the world on Thursday after announcing he called off his scheduled summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on June 12 in Singapore. The U.S. President cited as reason for the decision Pyongyang's open hostility and warned that the U.S. military was ready in the event of any reckless acts by North Korea.
But if they don't, we are more ready than we have ever been before. North Korea has the opportunity to end decades of poverty and oppression by following the path of denuclearization and joining the community of nations. And I hope that Kim Jong-un will ultimately do what is right, not only for himself, but perhaps most importantly, what's right for his people, who are suffering greatly and needlessly.
Trump also said the summit could be held later and called it a missed opportunity. He said he still hoped to meet Kim someday. Trump announced his abrupt withdrawal from what would have been a first-ever meeting between a serving U.S. president and a North Korean leader, even after North Korea followed through on a pledge to blow up tunnels at its nuclear test site. On Friday, the North State News Agency KCNA confirmed the demolition of its nuclear test site at Punggye-ri, saying all its tunnels had been destroyed by explosions and their entrances completely closed. Responding to Trump's withdrawal, North Korea's Vice Foreign Minister Kim Gye-gwan on Friday said the North is open to resolving issues with the United States. KCNA released a statement citing its first Vice Foreign Minister as saying the North had high regards for President Trump's efforts, which were unprecedented by any other president, to create a historic North Korea-US summit. The harsh exchange of rhetoric between the two countries began when Trump's national security advisor suggested that the North could share the fate of Libya if it did not surrender its nuclear arsenal. Pyongyang reacted strongly and even canceled its high-level talks with South Korea. Trump had initially sought to placate Pyongyang, saying that he was not pursuing the Libya model in getting the North to abandon its nuclear weapons program. Eric Ferrer, UNTV News and Rescue, South Korea.
Two unidentified men walked into a restaurant on Thursday on a mall in the Canadian city of Mississauga and set off a bomb, wounding more than a dozen people and then fleeing. Authorities said the male suspects went into the Bombay Bell restaurant and detonated their improvised explosive at about 10:30 in the evening local time. The Peel Regional Paramedic Service said 15 people were taken to hospital, 3 of them with critical injuries. Britain's foreign spy agency will allow the children of immigrants to join the organization for the first time and will launch its first TV advert on Thursday. Alex Younger, the chief of MI6, known as C, is scrapping a rule that new recruits must have 2 British-born parents and they will now only need to be British-born. The service is on a recruitment drive aimed at women with children and Black and minority ethnic candidates to bolster the service's diversity. The change comes as MI6 launches the first TV advertisement in its 109-year history on Thursday evening. Three lava flows from the erupting Kilauea volcano reached the ocean off the Big Island in Hawaii. Local officials say the third flow started to pour into the sea on Thursday local time. Hawaiian Volcanoes National Park has been closed for 2 weeks due to concerns over rock falls coming from the erupting volcano. U.S. Marine Corps has deployed 2 large helicopters to respond to evacuations in case it's needed. Hawaii officials vowed to immediately evacuate people if lava crosses key highways and isolate communities. And those are the news around the globe. Back to you, Will.
Thank you very much, Annie Mancilia, reporting live from Singapore. The glittering royal wedding of Prince Harry and his bride Meghan Markle has now been given the mini-me treatment. Leslie Longboen will tell us why.
Reliving the fairy tale on a small scale. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's wedding got reimagined kid-sized after a pair of tots recreated some of the most iconic moments from their nuptials. The Toddlewood photo shoot created near spot-on recreations of looks from the wedding gown worn by Meghan Markle. Prince Harry, Markle's mother, Doria Ragland, Prince Charles and his wife Camilla, and cellist Cheku Kane Mason. Markle's sleekly sculpted Givenchy wedding gown was given the Toddlewood treatment with a shrunken version designed by Essay Couture worn by 7-year-old Naiya Otero.
I think she's pretty, and it's an honor to marry Prince Harry and dress up as her.
Meanwhile, Prince Harry's pin-sized doppelganger was the spitting image of the Duke of Sussex in all-black ensemble with a ginger scruff painted onto his young face. The brainchild New York photographer Tricia Messeru said her team gave themselves only 48 hours to mimic the looks and set design, a feat that's never an easy challenge.
We had to spend all night creating this flower wall as best we possibly could. Yes, I glued a whole gown together myself with my friends overnight last night. Hopefully it's gonna look good and hopefully nobody can tell, but we'll see.
Toddlewood enlists toddlers to dress up as celebrities from prominent events like the Oscars, Grammys, Golden Globes, and movie posters. And to prepare for the royal photo shoot, Toddlewood did a casting call to find lookalikes that would fit the parts. The studio has yet to release the pictures from the shoot, but from the video, it looks to be cuteness overload at the royal level. Leslie Lomboan, UNTV News and Rescue.
Those are the reasons behind the news. May 25, 2018, I am William Thio, and because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching Y News.